gallbladder that was involved.
Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everybody.
Bienvenue à notre réunion
Welcome
pour le
to our
septembre.
regular meeting on September 2nd.
Avant de commencer,
Before I start,
toujours avec,
I always start with a land acknowledgement. We are gathered on the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people,
dont nos ancêtres leurs ancêtres
whose ancestors signed the treaties of peace and friendship with the British Crown in the 1700s. So, Mr. Clerk, we do have quorum. We're missing one counselor today. She's absent for health reasons. She's doing well. Though, in terms of declaring any conflicts of interest, are there any counselors who would like to declare a conflict of interest related to something on the agenda today? I see nothing coming before me, so thank you. You see the agenda before you. We need a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Moved by Councillor Germaine Gadin, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sylvie Colette Boudreau. All those in favor shall say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Councillor Patricia? Did I say it too quickly? May I ask a question for the agenda?
Okay.
I just have a question. In the motions and the resolutions, we don't have the third reading for the composition of the council. There was some urgency there. Yes, basically one of the steps that we have to follow to change the composition of council is that we need approval. I want to use the right words here. A preliminary approval before we can move to adopt from the department. And we haven't received that approval yet. I spoke to the province last week to get a sense of where we were at with all that, and they shared that we should get it for the next meeting, the one for September 15th. So at that moment, if we have permission, we will be able to proceed to the further readings. We are nonetheless in line with the deadline set out so that we could be in place for the next election in May. As I said, all those in favor? You said a lot of you said yes. No, any against? Motion carried. Sometimes I go fast. Pardon me for that. So in terms of the minutes, there are 3 minutes, sets of minutes to adopt tonight for the one on the meeting of June 16th, 2025. You've had the opportunity to read it. A simple motion to adopt it, moved by Councillor Joël Després, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. Any questions? Otherwise, all those in favor shall say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. The next one, for the next minutes, for meeting of July 7, 2025, you had the opportunity to read it, moved by Councillor Germaine Galland, seconded by Councillor Emile O'Brien. Any questions on that one? Otherwise, all those in favor shall say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. And finally, the minutes for the meeting of July 14th, 2025. I would need a motion to adopt them. Moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Peter Bro. All those in favor shall say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Thank you very much. No public presentations tonight. No reading of correspondence. We do have a few reports. First of all, the mayor's report, and then you'll have the opportunity, the councillors will have an opportunity to present some reports, but sometimes there hasn't been too much since the last time we met. As mayor, I'd like to cover 3 items. It took a fair amount of my time lately. American Iron and Metal, this business, they're at the Industrial Park, Maison Pascal Poirier, and the request for support on the part of the Red Dot Association. I wrote a few sentences out here, it'd be easier. So for American Iron and Metal, I've just learned that business has now has a license to operate from the Department of Public Safety at their in August. I've just learned this. I've learned it through media, and they were asking me for comments about it. I refused these interviews. I didn't have any information to contribute. I just learned it. I was not going to contribute. Wasn't well placed to contribute to the story. So I contacted the Minister of Public Safety, Robert Gauvin, also the MLA for Shediac-Dieppe, which includes Scodoc, for some information on the framework for salvage dealer's license. So, what can they do? What are they entitled to do? In addition to speaking of the situation, the minister passed me some information last Friday, including this. First of all, Plan 360, our planning services for the region, for our region, they confirmed with the department that according to the existing zoning, the current zoning, there's 4 lots of that business, AIM, located at the Scodoc Industrial Park that have heavy industrial zoning. That zoning allows to do metal recycling, salvaging. So 2 other lots belonging to that business, 6 in total, they have a rural zoning and they don't allow that type of activity. So the salvage dealer operations are framed under the framework of the law on salvage dealerships. This is a provincial law. As I reviewed this law, I took a look at it. It's not very long law. This law sets out that to get a license, a business must, among other things, provide a fire safety plan. A fire safety plan. Maybe we're more used to hearing that way, as well as a site plan that satisfies the requirements of the provincial fire warden, the provincial fire marshal. And this is according to the law on fire prevention. This is where the authority from gives the authority to the fire marshal. The minister said that if a salvage dealer wishes to operate a shredder, or process dangerous, hazardous waste, they must get an operating permit from the local government. This from the environment. Up to now, that company does not have that type of permit. With all that information, owing to the questions and the worries that I have received and many councillors have received from people in our community, despite the fact that the municipality has no regulatory role to play here as it relates to salvage yards and salvage dealers, and that this type of activity is allowed in the Squid Oak Industrial Park, given the heavy industrial zoning. As mayor, I will continue to get some information on this file and to pass on any questions and issues and preoccupations and concerns of people to the appropriate authorities, to the public or public safety or environment, as well as to the business itself. And I will inform the Municipal Council of any news on this file once I get some. That's basically what I can tell you tonight. On that topic, in terms of Maison Pascal Poirier, over the past few weeks, I saw the media coverage, reports on news reports on the radio and on the web as well. There was some public letters to the editor about the state of the Pascal Poirier House, and where people raise the fact that they are displeased. I'm not against people expressing their opinion. I find it unfortunate they haven't tried to contact me on that front, and they only sought to express themselves in the public space. They can certainly speak to the public, but I would have appreciated the opportunity to talk about this topic, and I would invite them to have them contact me for a constructive discussion. As to the people who published comments, harmful comments around this topic on the social media, they can do it. Their comments have not contributed to any positive resolution to the situation, nor to overcome the challenges that they're criticizing. If they want to contribute to the solution, I would invite them to contact me. Irrespective of who said what, at this moment, Maison Pascal Poirier House is closed. Given its poor state, it is clear that it doesn't clearly look very good. We're not learning anything new. Given the need, to provide some attention, the municipality did some study that confirmed the need for really big work, estimated $2 million, only to preserve the building, not to improve it. Given its historical importance relating to our community and all of Acadie, the municipality included the Pascal Poirier House in the strategic plan that the municipal council recently adopted. And to properly launch a concrete plan towards using this historical asset, the plan sets out the development of a mandate for Pascal Poirier House in 2026 through the establishment of an internal committee whose goal will be to study the topic and to provide recommendations to the municipal council as to its future. The main idea here is to plan how the Pascal Poirier House could serve community activities instead of remaining a static place with little interest and little activity.
In regards to the request for support from the Red Dot Association, in response to the request for a letter of support they had provided from the Red Dot Association for their application to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund, I, as well as the CAO and the Special Projects Manager of the town, reviewed the request and accompanying document. And as a result of additional questions arising from this review and information received from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities regarding the municipal partnership requirements when a nonprofit group applies or seeks funding under the Green Municipal Fund, I invited the group's president to meet with me next week to discuss the matter. Now, from the reply I received yesterday, he replied to me yesterday morning, the president's unable to meet with me next week, but is available the following week. So as a result, I'll attempt to set up another date for discussion. So hopefully we'll find a way to move forward. C'est tout pour moi pour ce soir.
That's it from me for tonight. Are there any council members who have any questions for me related to my report? Councilor Renaud Cormier. Not a question, but thank you, Your Worship. In terms of the industrial park file, and as related to Ames, thank you to the minister for having shared the information that he had. It shows that he wants to work with us to ensure that whatever development happens there will be under a certain level of control. I'm more relieved to hear what the minister shared. I wasn't against it, but I did have some concerns. I hope that we'll share the information back to the minister, that we thank him for his cooperation. Thank you. And we'll certainly do that. Councilor Paul Boudreau, thank you. On that, it's on the Pascal Poirier House. Thank you for the information, Your Worship. It's my pleasure. I didn't see the amount that you mentioned in your speech. I thought the amount was smaller than that. Is this something that staff can provide to us? More information? This was based on a study in 2022, and it was around 500,000 at that point. It's higher now. At any rate, in terms of the committee, for the next mandate, is there a specific timeline? It's in the strategic plan. It says 2026. The committee will have stopped its work by mid-2026. So in terms of what we can do for budget, 2026 budget, if that budget only has recommendations at this, once we've had our budget deliberations, are we missing a full year? If the council does decide to go forward with something, that's my question. Where are we heading with this specific date? The specific date that we spoke about in the strategic plan was to come back to the council before the next election. Right now, we're working on the file internally. Obviously, the strategic plan was adopted in the spring. So with the summer season, we're starting to implement a lot of the actions that we said that we would complete before the end of this year. And now we're starting with the actions that will start in January and be completed by the end of the year. The budget impact, obviously. Well, in terms of budget impact, we should take into account a certain amount, but there are other sources of funding other than the operating budget to finance what could potentially be a recommendation to council. We can't speculate. We have many other projects that we're looking at. In terms of the budget process, we'll also be presenting the 5-year plan, which includes an amount within the 5-year plan. The 5-year plan has not yet been adopted. There will certainly be other elements that we have to put in place before we come to a decision as to what we are going to do. The easy answer would be yes, it'll be in the budget, but it might not be that really, and that might not be what the council wants to see. There are certain amounts that we will be determining as part of the 5-year plan, but the council will nonetheless need to decide where it wants to go once we come to the point around those decisions. I appreciate your answer. If we don't act during the budget deliberations, and we only react for budget 2026 to 2027, we're losing another 20 months. If the council wants to fix or modify or doing something to the House, I'm worried about this. If we're going to lose another year, it's been closed for 5 or 6 years, and it's not getting any better. You've seen what it looks like. So I want to get a sense of the attitude, what we decide in October around the budget. We'll be a bit, have made some progress, I would think, by that point. Progress how? Well, with the internal committee that will look at this, that's where we need to give that group the opportunity to do its work and reflect and seek out information, and etc. So this still all has to get done. Okay. Thank you. Great.
Merci bien.
Thank you very much. So,
est-ce que C'est pas une période de questions pour le
It's
public.
not a public
C'est
question
pour le
period.
conseil
Question.
municipal.
It's for the municipal council only.
Si vous voulez me
If you wish to,
Monsieur, je regrette.
sir, I'm really sorry.
Je regrette, monsieur.
I'm really sorry, sir. Have a good day.
En termes des rapports des membres du conseil.
In terms of reports from councilors, are there any councilors who would like to make a report for committee activities? Councilor Patricia Brooke-Chavarie. Thank you, Your Worship. It's not a report. Well, yes, it is a report. I'd just like to say that I met Tina Whitcomb for the Public Safety Committee. We discussed our first meeting. It will take place tomorrow. We'll talk about the composition, the mandate of the committee. Maybe by next meeting or the one after, we should have a draft in terms of its mandate and its composition. And as relates to Home Art Festival, it's happening soon. There's people who will be participating in activities. Just a reminder that it's happening this weekend. And that everything is done around the Parc Pascal Poirier. The tent is already set up. And apparently, it's going to be really great. It's going to be lovely visuals. So I just remind you that those activities are happening. It will help that the heat wave is done. Councilor Ronald Cormier, thank you, Your Worship. The sewer committee had some issues this summer in terms of odors that were heading to the east, let's say towards Cap Binet. Odors were that was pretty deplorable smells. The sewer committee is aware of the issue. It's the first time that there's been an issue. I'm told that existed a serious problem over the past 25 years. They undertook some means to relieve and calm down that smell. They invested several thousands of dollars with pumps and fans over top of the sewer system, aerators. I don't know if that's in English or in French. Thank you, Your Worship. And as the more things cool down, the better it is. There's no problem right now. Next summer, we think that with the equipment that we'll probably have in reserve, everything should be fine. They really don't know what happened. And I won't say what they think was happened. Actually, they don't really know. We have had problems. We're aware of the problems. We really are sorry. We say we're sorry to the residents. It's a sewer system that's 40 years old. The good news in terms of the sewer system is there's another one being built just as we speak. And there's a government investment of over $50 million. And there'll be the most advanced systems in Atlantic Canada. This is what people tell me. The good news is that the project is going forward, but we did have some challenges this summer, and we do offer we do apologize to the residents of Cap-Acadie. I don't see any other urgencies. Next item, the CAO's report. Mr. CAO, thank you, Your Worship. Just a bit of follow-up. I sent you an email with some follow-up from the last meeting. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me for any additional information. I would be pleased to answer. 4 small files to speak about here. As you no doubt have learned and maybe experienced, this summer season was a hot one. Very little rain, and this led to very dry conditions in our region and elevated risk of fire or incidents that could lead to damage. And we've seen this in many regions. We took some proactive measures to try to protect the use of water on our territory. Although, even if the citizen opens a tap and the water is flowing regularly, let's not forget that we do have a reservoir and that the reservoir is fed by a well. We have some wells where we saw some reduced flow. There's less water in the water table. So we do need to advise people to be vigilant. It's not at a critical level, but it could happen if the drought continues. And let's say we need to fight a fire or anything like that. So we do encourage residents to take up measures for a thoughtful consumption of water and to avoid overconsumption of water so that you don't affect the water system. In terms of municipal operations, you may have noticed that the Calder Street project, well, there wasn't much activity lately. This is because the works are quite far ahead. And the next team, for the next aspect of the works, they're doing another project. That's why they're not here yet. There was a few delays there. We're still we're being told that the project is scheduled to end this month. I just wanted to let you know that there's no problem here. We're just ahead of schedule, and the next teams haven't yet arrived. Thank you for advising me. I hadn't swung by there today. Thank you. In terms of the trails, we closed one section of the trail, because we were doing a changeover of the culvert. So now we've just closed the other section because they'll be starting to work on it. You've seen that there's maybe some road signage that was added. We'll continue to check on the situation to see if we need to add any more to advise drivers that they need to share the road with others. The 2026 budget internally, we've already started working with the various directors or staff teams. We've sent you the dates for the deliberations in your calendar. Should already have to set that aside in your agendas.
The last point I wanted to mention was the position for the municipal and engineering operations. I share at the last meeting that we proceeded with some interviews with some candidates. I'm pleased we made one offer to a candidate last week, and the individual accepted the offer. And the individual should start in its role October 1st. For now, the candidate is Mr. Frédéric Duclos. Mr. Duclos is working currently for a firm, construction firm, a company that was working on major projects outside the province, but he lives in the southeastern New Brunswick. So he spends most of his time looking for a big construction project outside of the province of New Brunswick, and he goes back, comes back home just to contribute to a community. So he showed a lot of interest to be part of a team, to be part of a community, and to contribute to the wellness of the projects of the municipality. And part of the selection committee, Robert, he was a former director of the operations, and he told us that Frédéric would be a good fit for the team that we have in place, and his experience will be an asset to the municipality. So this concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Question, Councillor Cormier, on our CEO's report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So he answered, like, thank you for the email you answered. It was quite a big email, long email, but a lot of meat, like in the report. So thank you. Unfortunately, your answer and my expectations are not the same. So I was a little bit deceived. Well, not really deceived, but
oui, déçu peut-être.
Yes, deceived.
Je vais remporter de nouveau le dossier.
I will bring back like the file, like Cornwall file. Councilor Cormier will allow you like to just ask questions on the items, like yes, the one. Then you can mention the other one at number 13, just to make a distinction between the two. Councilor Paul Boudreau. So just a reference and an update, Yvan. For the fire station would be like a fire station. So because he did not mention anything about the infrastructure. I know like you're very keen, but yes, I can wait another 10 minutes. I can take my time too. We do not have any recommendation for the Regional Service Commission and no unfinished business or new business, but number 13. So inquiry from council members. Since Councilor Cormier started, I will go first. Since I started, I will start and I will go at the others after. So the citizens from Cornwall Point, they have a concern like for speeding. There are two roads that are quite long, and I would suggest like possibly to have speed bumps. Yours seem to say does not exist anymore, so do not recommend to have these, but we do not recommend to have it in the town of Shediac. So maybe we could try to have some of them, not during the winter, but and if not, do you have an option? Like if it's not an option, because there's still a lot of speeding, like is there any other option that could be looked at? I'm not like pretend to be like an engineer director, so I'm just sharing the information shared by the team, and I think it was already discussed. So we are open to anything, but we have our limitations and on the product use, but there is also everything costs something. There's a price to everything. When someone asks for something, there's a price attached to it. If the council wanted to look at some solutions that are a bit more permission, that's something we could assess during the five-year plan. If they want us to look at more temporary options, well, we should make sure we put the budget amount. But right now, it's not something that we're budgeting for. So we do not have, Mr. Mayor. Yes, since can you suggest me like give me a suggestion what I could do, like try to solve like a problem without too much bureaucracy. So maybe in terms of if the administration could look at the situation to see what would be like a measure that would be appropriate measure to the situation, maybe. So, Mr. Mayor, like I would ask a question, like Mr. Mayor recommended it, like to the CAO. Usually, when Mr. Mayor suggests, my experience in 3 years, it will move fast. I will take your word for it. It comes from me, but it was proposed by someone else. If I understand, you would like for them to look at the administration and present them to the council later. Oh, I have many, so I have more. Once again, like the communication between. It's still the same issue. Route 11, that's going to Route 132, coming from Barachois to Skoduk, that turns to Shediac. There is a stop sign and there's a yield. As you explained in your presentation, Mr. CAO, in your letter, or on your exposés. You're saying it cannot be done. Well, according to the rules from the Department of Transportation, but could we look at to consult our MLA from Shediac Bay and Dieppe to have a discussion with Shediac Bay and Dieppe? So the day like Dieppe has a bay, Minister Gauvin, because it's in his writing, to be more official, like that the town has a concern, because it's extremely dangerous. It's just a matter of time. I think it's been 2 years, and myself and Councilor Durocher, we need to solve this issue. If we can, we can, but we try with the public servants. This is the next step. Like we have to meet with our minister. Can we coordinate something? And just to tell you, he's aware of the file because I spoke to him personally. But I think it has to come from the town of Shediac. It will come from the citizens of Scodoc. If you allow me, well, the administration, it's a file. We took the opportunity to discuss with the public servants of the department. So we have a lot of communications, either by email, phone. Even myself, I had the communication with the regional engineer when Councilor Després already mentioned it to me a few months ago, and I can tell you that the department had way more conversation. And when I asked them what happened, well, they were able to give me the answer that was essentially in terms of regulation, so they meet or exceed like the TAC regulation, and they recommend like for the police instances do something. I know that's not what you want to hear, but I can tell you in terms of situation, we knock on every door, and if the council would like to intervene with politicians, certainly we could write a letter to invite the minister like to have a discussion with the municipality. Thank you. As we are aware, a few months ago, the government and NB Power made the announcement that the generating station at the Scodoc Industrial Park would be transferred in the Tente-Romar region, would not be in Scodoc. And in my personal opinion, it's a really good idea. But during their public discussion we had with the industrial park to change the industrial park, there was a part, so there are many acres that was in the industrial park. They were taken out of the industrial park, so we are negotiating, and it was announced. But there's still a lot of acres that became vacant, and NB Power were probably not using them. I would like that we would try to at least to talk to NB Power, our two MLAs in the area, try during the transfer or maybe after the transfer, trying to get back the piece of land that has many acres to help for future development in our municipality. It's still in your hands, Mr. Mayor. Like it's to know how could ensure we have a good discussion. So, Mr. Comey, we could get some information. So this land belongs to NB Power for now, And for the agreement between the municipality and the province, it involves also the Department of Infrastructure and Infrastructure. So it's it's a part, the industrial park that's not developed. So that's something we could get some information, because the NB Power shareholder is the government of New Brunswick. So it's still NB Power. We just have to make sure we talk to the right person. Mr. Léo Doiron came to see us, was in June, because he had an issue. I was not aware. So the taxi system for the town of Shediac, often, in his opinion, well, and he's a guy who would be familiar with this, according to him. So many times, like the taxi network after a certain 8, 9, 10 o'clock does not exist anymore. And the bars in the region, like, it's kind of complicated, like, to get a taxi. Did we have a chance, like, to sit down with him? With them? For now, no meeting were held, but we are sending, we will prepare communication, but it was delayed, but we still want to proceed, so we're not in this same situation next season, in a sense. And not only the same situation, well, that might be more busier, like in the summer, but the local people, like those who would like to drink alcohol, like, we need to have some kind of option, like, maybe, yes, it's being noted. So in the communications we are preparing, so that's what we're trying to position, like the Shediac, like during the winter when less thing was happening, but now there's more activity, so it's important to have activities that can meet the demand. The last one, Mr. Mayor, a comment. So the Greater Shediac region was extremely fortunate. An incident happened last week in Pointe-du-Chêne, like there were some firearms that were found. So vests from RCMP, well, false uniforms for RCMP. So I would like to thank, so we were very fortunate, nothing bad happened. Thank God, like we had some individuals that in our CMP or the Department of Public Safety, like that were able, like to find those things. So we'll see what would happen with that, but the community of Shediac is very fortunate that the firefighters found this situation, discovered the situation, because it could have become very serious in our region. And I just wanted to thank publicly. Like, often we criticize our CMPs, saying, oh, they're never there. And I raised my hat to the organization, and they did their work. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Cormier. So I saw this, like, I do not have more information. I'm not familiar with the story, so I don't know even who that guy was. But if the RCMP could do something that was to serve a community, we always appreciate it. So we're hoping, like, it will not happen too often. Thank you very much. Councilor Paul Boudreau. So the fire station, like, do you have any news? Is it looking good? I made a report, so everything is in line, like, for this month. Until further advice, like it should open, like, later this month. So the step, like, for multi-purpose or direct center, so are we 5, 6, 7, 8? I'm not sure which step. So where are we at? We should have maybe an update at the next meeting on this matter. I think that's what we decided. Like, she nodded yes, so we'll give you a report at the next meeting. Next item. So we had no the bylaw reading of bylaw, but we have a motion for the Omar Festival. So we need someone to read the motion. Councillor Patricia Bourgeois. Thank you. Be it resolved that the Omar Festival Municipal Council temporarily close Weldon Street from Main Street A to the entrance of the Shediac Hotel parking lot, as well as Betty Boo Street from Pleasant Street to Weldon Street from September 3rd, 2020 to 8 September to September 7, 2025 at 8 o'clock. I shall move. There's another part. Be it also resolved that the Omar simply like for midnight, 30 past midnight for Friday and Saturday 6th for the presentation of the musical show in the park. So we extend the curfew to 12:30. I shall move. Moved by Councillor Bourgeois and seconded by Councillor Germaine Galin, if I heard well. Questions on the motion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Against name, motion carried. Yes, a question. We will circulate anything on social media? Thank you. Making progress. So you give the answer. Next, well, appointment to committee. So we need like a motion here for the. I will read it. It's for the recreation center. Like since the BC2 has completed its analysis of the needs and clientele associated with the new recreation center, be it resolved that Councillor Paul Boudreau be assigned to attend BC2 meetings to represent the municipal council. Moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien. Questions? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Thank you. Next meeting will be in 2 weeks. Monday, September 15 at 6 o'clock. Same place. I need a motion. Councillor Germaine Galin is moving the adjournment of the